This is my website. These are the novels I'm working on. I haven't finished any of them. I've got 18 titles I'm working on, and these are the first trilogy. And we have Asteroids. There we go. And then go back here to the menu. And a maze game. Endless amounts of time to figure out how to collect all 4 yellow keys. So we can go like this. The arrow keys through the red doors. And if we pick up all 4 keys, we go to a different maze. I had one person, an employer, tell me this was too much like life. Just do a little run around to get your needs met. And, well, looks like I have to go down there and pick up that one. Yeah. Oh. I want to get to that next maze just to show you. Like Star Trek, the original series, they had that odd music sometimes when Spock was not behaving like Spock. No, 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 no. How do I get there? I think I know. Going around in circles here, retracing my steps just to get all 4 keys. I won't solve the next one. I'll just go to the next program. Looks like I'm going the right way. Yeah, I don't know if you like mazes or not, but that's what this is. It's a maze. Twisty little hallways that all look the same. Ta-da! And we get a new maze. So back up. And we have this. There it is, solved. If you memorize this, you can solve the puzzle real easy. But I haven't memorized it. So if we hit start, just trade. Nope, too much. Gotta have 38. We reload the page. Each one of these is 38. 38, 38, 38. And everywhere is that. See? Not nifty. But you just add all these numbers up, you get 38. Add all these numbers up, you get 38. Interesting puzzle. We have Knight's Tour, which is fun. I learned how to solve it. I used to have one where the board was a different shape and you had to learn different ways, but haven't gotten around to fixing it. To work that way, so that you finish one. The first one I had was really cool because it would change the board when you finished one, and the first one was automatic. You couldn't but solve it. But no, I just got the plain old chessboard. Looks like we need to do this. No, that was the wrong move. Oh. Huh. What am I supposed to do? Let's take that out. I got goofed up. And we should have done this one. And we just complete the pattern. And if I could do it like this, I can do it like the whole thing. Just do the same thing the other way around. Let's do this one. Couldn't have got that one otherwise. The outside. Look at that. Ta-da! Only took me 167,000 milliseconds. So there's that. And the classic, just knock the balls around. I want to get like the nuances, like how to hit the cue ball so it has spin, and all the other balls have spin. But no, it's just plain Newtonian, no spin. Not fun. Yeah, I should get at least one in a pocket just to demonstrate. See if we can do this one here. Almost had one in a pocket. There's no change in speed or any of that. There's no hitting the cue ball any harder or less. There we go. Got the green stripe in. And let's go here. And, astrology. I have my own way of doing astrology. I had a specification for the solar system. I used that specification to do the mathematics I needed to do, orbital mechanics. And So these are all roughly, and here's today's date, and that's all these planets on the lower end. See, we're in Leo right now, August 4th, and that's the Sun. This is Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn. So there's two sets of planets. There's the transiting planets here, and there's the natal planets here. And so I have special dates for. Yeah, see, Jennifer Connelly has a nasty set of problems that reoccur. I tried to write her own coded love letter, but I was hoping it would get to her at exactly the right time, and it did. So, yeah, she had a nasty deal on March 12th. See how this is squared? She's got a sun-moon opposition in her chart. Here's March, Mars and Sun here, and there's the moon that just passed by. We back it up a little bit. 6, 5, 4. Yeah. So she had this nasty T-square with Sun and Moon in both these charts. I sent her a coded love letter with my phone number on the back of it. And surprisingly, about this point in time, maybe a little later, I warned her about falling equipment, and she happened to be on the stage of Wing Commander. And I had a premonition if I did nothing, she would die. So I sent her the letter. She got it. She called the number on the back. Says, I have this rather unusual letter. And I go, are you on stage right now? And she says, yes, we just have a couple minutes before we start up again. And I say, you need to get off the stage right now. She says, I could lose my job if I did that. I say, look up into the rafters. Is there something swinging about to fall? Oh my God, there is. And I could hear her running with the phone, and then there's this loud crash. You know, are you okay? Are you all right? And then somebody on her end asked her the same question. And I did it all with astrology. A lot of squares on that day. A lot of very closely zero orb on 4 squares involving the Sun, Moon, Mars, and Uranus. Or Mercury. No, it's Mars. Yeah, the planet of war. Mercury's bad. It's a lot of squares involving the Sun and Moon. Yeah, might have been March 14th or somewhere close to that. Anyway, and then the same deal on 9/11. At the time, she had she was look at all this stuff all lined up. She had a gig on called The Street with a $ instead of an S. It was to be filmed in the World Trade Center. And I told her those buildings are our terrorist targets shouldn't be in that building. And she took my advice, and then 9/11 happened. Uh, I don't know. Nasty. So then let's continue web development. Here's my basic interpreter. This is all in JavaScript on a single file. 32,768. That's half of the 64K it has in memory. And then we go 880 for the number of characters wide it is. And then we go function key 3. Does all this. We go run. It does that. This is in basic in JavaScript as an emulator for a 6502 processor, which was in the Apple II and the Atari and the Commodore and a bunch of other machines from the 80s and 90s, early 90s. Everybody switched over to something more powerful later. But yeah, the 6502 still works. We did back then. I have a lot to do with this. And then here's my 75 sort. Works like bubble sort, but it goes halfway, and then it goes 3/4 of halfway, and then it goes 3/4 of 3/4 of halfway, and it gets tighter and tighter. And I've found it works pretty good, almost as fast as quicksort, and a lot easier to program. So 3/4 of 100 is 75%, which is what I'm multiplying each pass. And 3/4 of every width goes down until it gets to a width of 1. There's a little trick. You got to make sure it doesn't go 3/4 of 3. So you need to put that at 4 so it gets the right. So there's the last pass. Ta-da! Isn't that nifty? And passcodes. This was just something so I could make up passwords and have a cheat sheet to figure it out. Every time it runs, it's got a different set of numbers, plus and minus. Nifty little program. If we look at the source code, it's pretty simple. Source. Yeah, that's all it is. As a web page, HTML web page with a JavaScript embedded. Pretty simple. And here, and these are some of the special characters. It used to be you couldn't post code on websites like Facebook and YouTube. I pointed out that you just take greater than and less than instead of the actual symbol. You just use these for all the HTML tags, and it goes inoperable. And then you might have some issues with quotations and stuff, but you can do those too if you need to. Anyway, they started as soon as I tried that on YouTube. On one of my videos, suddenly there's that same sorting program, 75 sort, and they adopted it without paying me a dime. And calculation fun. So here's addition in base 10, and we can switch it to base 16 or any of the others. Got base 8, base 4, and then you can go subtract, you get negative numbers, vertical axis. And then, let's put it in base 10, so it's at least somewhat understandable. 15 times 15 is 225. And then my Atari simulator, just a lonely little 6502. But it's what I started with when I was doing the 6502 thing, and I can have it run right like this, does a bunch of stuff. But I had to type in all those labels by hand. Just copy them from the source in the manual that I have for basic. I don't know if it works right or not, but there's that. And then here's my Weliberd cipher. So if you have the right, you can put whatever you want in here for the password. The only way you get it back is if you have exactly the same thing, like this. Boing. Then you do cipher again, it comes back. But if you go and change this to a C, all lowercase c, just one bit, do cipher, then you go B, put it back, and try to uncipher it, just more static. So then you go C, then you go B again, and then you get it back. Yeah, it's the same algorithm that your credit card uses. Didn't get a dime from that either. And here's a secret method for doing factorization. Just yeah. But haven't fully figured this out. But anyway, it's a way of factoring numbers without going through every possible prime. I haven't fully figured it out, but I have a good idea how to do it. And then everything on the internet is vulnerable. If some mathematician figures it out with less scruples than I, everybody could be owing hacker everything they have, medical records and stuff. Then here's the front end of my processor. It doesn't do anything except type. I don't think it even does the different direction. No. But, it's got the Atari ASCII stuff, all this garbage. Oops. So, yeah. And then here's 3 of my novels. This is the first trilogy that I want to get done. Devil Speaks Binary. How George takes the blame for the internet dying, like I just described about the factorization. program that I'm working on. And then Deceptocracy is about the unreal manipulation of human minds. You start out with a need, and then there's a solution for the need, and then the solution gets monopolized, and then the monopoly denies access to the solution, and then death. Death comes when you can't get medical attention, or you don't have enough money to ride the bus, you're homeless or something, you're deprived of all the necessities of life because you don't have any money. Money was the solution to trade, and people start believing that the essentials cost money. And then artifact of absence. This is where they've determined a way around the disruption on the internet, and that's my website.